The Smurfs started out as a French comic book series and then became one of the most iconic cartoons of the 80s. Out of all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons that I grew up with, I wasn't a big Smurfs fan. I am familiar with the premise and the characters, but even as a kid, I found it to be too cutesy. But I remember having a bit curiosity of seeing the live-action hybrid films by Sony Animation. Back then, I thought the first film was whatever, but years later, I fully understand why many people claim it to be as one of the worst films to be based on a cartoon. With a very cliche fish-out-of-water plot, annoying characters, terrible humor, and on top of all that, it wants to consume you with lots and lots of product placements. The only two highlights I found in this movie are Hank Azaria's performance as Gargamel and Neil Patrick Harris's comments on how dumb the whole thing is.
I'm Smurfully sorry about
Stop saying Smurf for everything. What does that even mean?
Smurf! Smurfity Smurf, Smurf, Smurf!
There's no call for that kind of language, laddie.
And don't get me started with the sequel. The only reason why it existed is because how successful the first movie is for the marketing, and it has the same problem as the latter. I also felt sorry for my first celebrity crush, Christina Ricci, for playing the role as Goth Smurf. The 2017 animated reboot Smurfs: The Lost Village is better than the live-action films, but it's not that good either. But it has some nice animation, and they did at least try to adapt the source material. Now we have the new Smurfs movie coming out this summer, and when Paramount Animation released its first trailer, well... Okay, there's no need to hide this. Paramount needs to reconsider this idea. Let's discuss the elephant in the room out of the way. Rihanna is a terrible choice to play Smurfette. After discovering that she's not only playing the character but also in charge of the film's soundtrack, I already knew that this is yet another example of casting a pop artist in an animated film, especially as the main character, is a terrible idea. At least in the Sony Smurfs movies, Katy Perry tries to bring the character's voice to life, and you could tell that she did her best. But in this movie, you don't hear Smurfette, you just hear Rihanna's voice coming out of Smurfette's mouth.
I can smurf that Smurf up and have it delivered to your house.
The rest of the trailer is not much better. A lot of people say that it's a straight ripoff of DreamWorks' Trolls, and they are absolutely right. It's like Paramount wanted to make the Smurfs to be their own version of Trolls, from the Smurfs dancing into pop music and being hip and cool for kids, which is something I hated in kids' movies. The big problem with these Smurfs films is that Sony wanted to cash in the success of the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies by taking an old property and trying to make them more modern for the young generation, but not realizing that making it more trendy makes the movie more dated. Like, we got a new Smurf called the Influencer Smurf, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Why an influencer Smurf? And I'm not the only one who hated this idea of a character. I don't know if you all agree with me when I say this, but with Trolls, it actually makes sense, because they wanted to rebrand the old toys into something new. Sure, they have the Trolls be obsessed with pop music and happiness, but it's a way to appeal to kids. And I'm gonna be real with you all, but if DreamWorks actually presents the OG Trolls to the kids, then they won't find it as appealing as those who grew up with the toys. Paramount also rehashes a couple of elements from the Sony ones as well, such as the Smurfs going into the real world and end up in fricking Paris, France, which we already seen it before in the second film, and they go through other dimensions, which we also already seen in Spider-Verse. Granted, I haven't seen the current Nickelodeon cartoon of the Smurfs, but I'm pretty sure that even Nickelodeon knows how to stick the original charm of the Smurfs. The animation doesn't look good either. I'll give them credit that they tried to bring the comics to life with the thought bubbles and everything, but the visuals look half rendered. Compared to The Lost Village, it's like they took the budget from that movie and made it cheaper. And despite being a $60 million budget movie, they did put an effort of bringing the world of Smurfs into CG. There are other issues too, like the trailer didn't make it very clear on what the movie is supposed to be. It was supposed to be about the Smurfs going on a quest to rescue Papa, then they team up with a rescue Smurf division, going through multiple dimensions to stop Gargamel and his brother. Oh yeah, apparently Gargamel has a brother and so does Papa Smurf. I mean, come on Paramount, pick one idea or the other. All in all, the new Smurfs movie trailer is pretty bad, and we all probably knew that no one's going to see it since it's going to be released in this year's big summer blockbuster competition, with the new Fantastic Four, Pixar's Elio, James Gunn's Superman, and The Bad Guys 2. Sometimes even watching the trailers we can tell that the movie isn't going to be good, and this is one of them. It seems that Paramount Animation doesn't know what to do when it comes to animated films. I haven't seen any of them, but I heard that the studio had made some poor decisions whenever they wanted to release their movies in theaters or streaming. I won't be surprised I would recommend sticking with the 2017 animated Smurfs movie once I see this one and mention it whenever I'm ready to review it. So if you guys seen the trailer, then tell me your thoughts of it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.